Hi, and welcome back. I'm here with board member of the Trent Memorial Hospital Foundation, Daryl Smith. Thanks for coming in today, Daryl.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So, how did you become involved to become a board member with the Trent Memorial Hospital Foundation?
Actually, in 2011, my family and I moved from the big city, Belleville, to just outside of outside of Trenton, and I said I needed to do something to get involved with my new community. And so I emailed the executive director, Wendy, and said, here's sort of my background. I would like to, is there opportunities to be involved? And here we sit almost 12 years later, and it's been, I've went through a number of different positions and responsibilities within the Trent Memorial Hospital Foundation, and continue, I hope, to be a productive member of the board of directors and the finance committee of the hospital foundation.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you on our board, and we're lucky to have you. So thank you for all those years of service that you've given us to the foundation. Is there any financial gain to being a board member?
No, and there shouldn't be. I mean, we should do this for solely the desire to ensure that we have the best hospital we can have within our local community. None of us are reimbursed or paid, and I know, looking at the people that I've served with over the last number of years, they're incredibly generous people, and the foundation has been certainly a benefactor of their generosity. So we're actually, I would almost jokingly say, we pay to participate on the board, but it's because we believe so strongly in the hospital and the foundation and what it's doing. So.
Well, exactly, because the government does not pay for equipment, right? So that's why we're all here to support and keep the best quality equipment and healthcare that we can for the community and for our physicians and nurses and staff. So thank you again for that. So how are the donations managed at the foundation?
So we have outside investment managers. We're blessed. We have a number of people with financial backgrounds who sit on either the finance committee or the board itself, who provide oversight in terms of, excuse me, asset allocation models, what our risk tolerances are. We're actually just went through a fairly extensive process, myself and two other members of our finance committee, Tina Firmich and Phil Wild, because we're all in the financial and investment industry, looking at redefining what are appropriate investments, how do we want our asset allocations to be. There's been a lot of talk of foundations and wealthy people using private assets and alternatives, so we wanted to explore that and make sure that we were providing the best opportunity to grow the funds that our donors have entrusted with us, to ensure that we can continue to provide the funds we need for the equipment that the hospital requires on an ongoing basis. And even after 12 years, I'm surprised the number of people who think the government pays for all the equipment. And it's eye-opening, and that we're still having those conversations with people that perhaps you would think would be aware of what the government actually pays as it relates to healthcare in the province. But I don't think that will ever reach a point where everybody knows that every dollar that they put in is buying the equipment that funds meets their healthcare needs when they're inside the hospital setting. So we continue to make sure that is always a constant message, that we as a community ensure the equipment that exists within our hospital.
For sure, and like you said, continue to educate people, right? That's so important, and being advocates for the hospital and for the foundation. So now, does the foundation have reserves?
Yes, we have assets that through very prudent stewardship and incredibly generous community, we've been able to grow over time. But it's, we manage, a portfolio in excess of a few $1 million. But when you're being asked to provide support to the level of $2 or $3 million on a yearly basis, it's not going to grow forever. We need to constantly replenish it. Right. There are some endowments that have been bequests left by family members generous supporters, and they do have a longevity to them, and we're utilizing just the income from those investments as was the initial request. But hopefully we continue to be able to raise all the funds the hospital needs for the essential equipment that will ensure good care for our community for many, many years to come.
Definitely.
And there are, significant other projects that are going to be forthcoming. I know that discussions are underway now around expanding the emergency department here at Trenton Memorial Hospital and expanding the inpatient unit, and those are going to be multi-million-dollar requirements, and then somewhere within the next 15 years we'll be looking at a new hospital as well. Wow. So the need never stops. Yeah. And so we take very, very serious oversight into the management of those assets to ensure that they are productive for today, but also for many, many years to come.
Yeah, which is such a smart way of thinking and such a forward thinking. What are you most proud of?
The community. That's actually probably the easiest question you'll give me. I came from Belleville. I mean, and Belleville and Trenton. I grew up in Belleville, and there was always a rivalry. Belleville was the big city, and Trenton was sort of the weak sister. Or at least that's what we thought. And that went through everything. And I played high school sports, and when we played against Trenton, it was always, we're playing against Trenton. So it was eye-opening just how truly generous this community is, and the champions that of this community are like some incredible people that I've been blessed to meet. John Smiley and John Williams and Phil Pinellas. All members of the Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation board, and incredibly supportive. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It just goes on and on. How much this community loves this hospital, and how much money they raise, and they're just always there. And that's what I'm most proud of is being a member of this community.
And that kind of leads me to my, why should the community support the hospital?
Because we need to have a hospital. And I'll use just a most current reality for myself. I've torn my rotator cuff, most likely, from shoveling too much snow this year. And on Sunday I was able to come in and get both an x-ray and an ultrasound done on my shoulder, and it's 5 minutes from my house, as opposed to having to drive 40 minutes to get to BGH to have the same test done. So it's essential that the community continue to support Trenton Memorial Hospital and the foundation to ensure that these kind of tests can be done here locally within a few minutes of where we live, that it makes our lives much more convenient, and we have great care a few minutes away, as opposed to having to deal with traffic and all that to get the care we may get if we need at Belleville General Hospital. So it's always going to be a need. I made the comment when we were raising funds for the new mammography machine through the gala last year. I lost my mom to breast cancer many, many years ago, and I said, if this piece of equipment saves one woman's life, it doesn't matter how much it costs, but we got to make sure that that equipment is state of the art, that it's here and it's available.
That's right. Wow, what a way to end it. Daryl, thank you so much for coming in today and chatting with us about the board and your role here with the Hospital Foundation, just how much you've done. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, and I'm delighted to do so.
Great, thank you. And thank you so much for watching In the Heart of Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.